achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne.
Hello, my friends. I wonder if StreamYard's talking to LinkedIn now. Well, probably not, knowing how our world goes, but it's fine. Not a problem. As I said, I'm not the pessimist, but we have to face facts where we have to, right? And this is one of those things that just happens. Tech has its moments. Sometimes it wins, other times we win, right? But this is one of those that I can't really, I can't make it happen because it's not within my control. But welcome, my friends. Welcome. I say this is being your authentic self in business room. Of course, I'm excited. Because I never know what's going to happen, right? I never know where we're going to go with our conversation today. But I think, and I have a feeling I know where I want to go. I think I do. Yes. Well, I suppose this issue of patience, it is, I think, misunderstood in many ways. Of course, patience in business can mean many things, right? It can mean many, many things. It can mean waiting for the right moment. It can mean, waiting for the right moment in different contexts. It can also mean, a sense of timing. It can mean, responding, not reacting. There's many different ways you can look at patience. I think there is a need for us to really understand how we can leverage patience to help us. Let me see who's here. Where am I? Okay, there's my event page. I don't know why it's not saying join. It is time, right? No, it is time. It's definitely time. So let me refresh my page. From these new LinkedIn changes to our event setup pages, it's kind of weird. It's done something in the back end, which I suppose we'll get a benefit of, or we will scream and shout that they've buggered it up. That's what we might say. And that's an English terminology. They screwed it up, in other words. I could have sworn, but why bother, right? It's a good day. It's a Wednesday. It's a happy Wednesday at that. Especially if you're Queen Leah. And you talk about worthy Wednesdays. It's one of those days. Let's click to join my own show. Yes, very weird. Am I live? I'm live. Yeah, see me, I hear me. Nikki, I see you too. How are you doing? Of course, as always, there's more people here. But my friends, if you don't say something, I will never know it was you, right? I can't welcome you if I don't see you. If I don't, you don't say something in the comments, then I'm forever in the dark about whether it's you or there's someone else. Of course, if it's you, I would love to welcome you properly. That way, you know that I value your time. I value you giving us your time to spend with us. So I know your time is very valuable, of course. You could be doing something else, but you're not. You're here with us. That deserves a round of applause. I suppose I might give you a round of applause, as StreamYard does. I think Nikki you definitely deserve a round of applause. So let me give you a round of applause, as I should, right? The right way. Where am I? Okay, so Nikki is not on my StreamYard, but she is. I know she's in the room, so let's go to one of our new tools. A round of applause. Yay. Anyway, there's many other buttons I could press, by the way. In case you don't use StreamYard and you don't know what's on the back end. There we go. Okay, let's do bounce. Is that bounce? Okay. Heart beats fast. There's a drum roll. Something I can't do myself, right? I don't know about this one. I'm not sure anyone would appreciate that sort of response. But StreamYard do go for it, right? They've really gone for it. All right, you can stop now. I only press it once. You can stop now. You say, well, no, that's good enough. Anyway, look, of course, I have shared the link to join the studio on the event page. So I would love to have your thoughts on our topic. I'd love to have your thoughts on, I guess, patience, what it means to you. Where can we leverage patience in business? Where do we struggle to use patience? Where can we do better by being a bit more patient? So I'm well aware that there's a complexity in that. As much as we say have patience, patience is a virtue. We're also very quick to say get on with it. Get moving, get started, get doing. I'm as guilty as anyone for saying those words, right? But I think in life we have to find that point, that sweet spot really between maybe the word is balance between taking time to think, taking time to plan, and then taking time to act. See, my friends, we live in this weird world where everyone's now in a hurry. Everyone is on high octane. Maybe it's like amphetamines, right? Our devices have given us this way of thinking that everything's instant. Again, I'm old enough to have lived through a time when things were not so instant. Time when you could send an email and wait for a response. Time when you could send a letter and wait for a response. Imagine that. Imagine today, you have to wait days for a response to your message. Instead, we're all instant. If I ask a question, I want an instant answer. And if I want something, I want the thing now, not later, right? I don't want to wait a few minutes. I don't want to wait a day. In our mind, we can't afford to wait. We must have it instantly. And that's just how the modern world works. See, I suppose this room it's about how do you build your business. That's the premise we started off, and that's the aim we started off, Donna and I trying to discuss. I guess of course, given what I do, I'll talk books and I'll talk marketing. Donna is a mindset coach, the best one I know, and she would talk about mindset, practices, and principles. See, what I realize is that building your business is a mixture of those two things. If anything, I'll probably say it's 98% what you do, and no, let me change that. 2% what you do, and 98% what you think, how you think. So business is 98% mindset, and the rest is the practicalities, your skill, your energy, I guess your timing. There's many more things involved, right, than just taking action. In that context, you realize that developing patience is one of our superpowers. So I guess let me get into it. While I get a chance, because I can quite happily talk. Can I talk for an hour? Of course I can. So I always mentally prepare for talking all through my show. It'd be a joy, right? It'd be a joy to talk to myself. But of course, yeah, I know what I do, and what I want to do is trigger someone into wanting to come and tell me their thoughts. Where do I have now this issue wrong? Do you agree with the point I'm making, or do you disagree? And when can I rile you enough that you must come and tell me what you think? You must come and tell us what you think. Either you agree so much that you must come and tell us that you agree, how much you agree, or you are so disgusted with my points, you want to come and tell us how disgusted you are. I don't know. Right. Oh, no. Okay. All right. So I got my message is so wrong, right? Okay. Just now, my come and speak, my StreamYard message. Just realized looks a bit weird, but it's fine now. It's fine. It's fine, right? Okay. Anyway, so like I was saying, so we'll talk about mindset. I guess mindfulness. Now, mindset sounds like something that's stuck, right? Whereas I think mindfulness is a different concept. Being mindful, using our mental capacity to bring about the results we want. That's what mindfulness means to me. To bring about the life that we want. We tend to have to be deliberate about that. So, we will talk a lot of mindset in this room because, like I say, it is the root to building your business. You can do as much as you want. You can do all day and all night. Effort alone won't build your business. Your thinking is primarily what holds us back, and also what moves us forward when we learn to change it to a way that suits us, a way that works for us, a way that brings what we want. So maybe I should work on Michelle. Michelle, I guess I imagine you're there because Michelle was here a long time ago. Messaged me about half an hour ago to say I'm here. I'm like, oh, it's good to know because it means I won't be alone, right? But at the same time, it is an impetus for me to get on with it. In other words, go live, Annie, go live. Don't wait forever. So, and I think all of this revolves around the issue of patience. Yeah. So, what is patience really? What does it mean to have patience in our work, in our jobs, in our business, in achieving our goals? I guess I can give you many examples, but I should do my best to define it, right? You see, many of us, like I say, we expect the instant everything, instant gratification, instant success, instant results. Imagine if you set a goal and you achieve it quickly, instantly, within days and weeks, maybe even hours. Some people would think that's a good thing. Surely, Annie, surely I set a goal, I've achieved it. It was a big goal. Maybe it was a challenging goal. But in reality, that's probably not a good goal. That's what Bob Proctor would say, I'm sure. Your goal must be something that will stretch you, something that will take time to achieve. So many people will go for the short-term win. They want to act on impulse. They think it. Yes, you can do it. And in reality, that's not how the world works. See, I remember when I started my business years ago. 2015, 10 years ago now. Cool. We're going to 11 years, right? Then we'll get to January. Oh, no, we're in January. Oh, I say it is 11 years. Wow, that's terrible. Well, that's not terrible. It's a reality, right? January 15th in 2015 when I started my business. So I'm now 11 years old. Yay. That gives me joy, right? You see, when I started my business, I guess I had a dream. The dream was simply build a marketing agency that helps small businesses to build their business. So, I remember one day I always wanted a big brand. I wanted a big company to hire me. Of course, I did. Hello, Michelle. How you doing, Victoria?
Hi, I'm great, Annie. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, better for seeing you because I was wondering when I was going to talk for a whole hour and a bit.
Oh,
But you're here to save me, so I can't just ramble on, right?
you always seem to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, no, I've got notes. I'm prepared mentally. I was prepared mentally to talk for an hour, but I never get around to it, right? So I have good friends like you who make the show more exciting, more interesting.
You
I
do
think,
have great friends. As I'm learning, the more I watch your shows, you really do have a great following.
yeah, well, I think that it's a blessing. I'll say, anyway, we'll come to that. We'll come to that in good time. Well, you're one of them, so yeah, it's a weird thing, right? And so I'm grateful for the friends that I have. And I'm grateful that people do come and talk because I think it makes diverse views makes a better conversation.
Mm.
Otherwise, we just do webinars, right? So I turn the camera on, talk to everyone, and they'll talk to people, and then see if they respond. In the chat normally, but a conversation is much better.
Mm.
Anyway, this issue of patience, does it resonate with you?
Oh, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, that was a big one for me in the past 2, 3 years. I really got to look at that. And I used to call myself a patient person. Ha.
Mm,
And then when I
mm, mm.
started doing this work, and my therapist or whoever I was working with, they constantly, patience, Victoria. And I'm like, I am patient. What do you mean, patience? I'm so patient. I've been waiting for a year for this to happen, right? And yeah, I wasn't. So now I'm so mindful, especially because I do coaching work, to represent or show somebody now what real patience is about. And for
Mm.
everybody, it's different. It's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I mean, there's many complexities in saying be patient. Apart from the fact that you're going to drive people mad, like you say, when people keep saying to you, be patient, you're like, nah, I'm being patient. But in reality, I think we say everyone's in a hurry. Everyone wants quick, everything. But nothing happens quickly. Nothing good. The big things don't happen quickly. They never have done, never will, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
they happen. I mean, that's like a judgment, right? To some
hmm,
person, they might say, oh, well, that was fast. And someone else might say, well, that took forever. So it's like, just be in the moment and get out of the judgment, and it will come when it's supposed to come, period.
again, there's many things you said there, which is easy to miss.
Mm.
I think it's a mixture of having faith in the number one. I think I would say it will come at the right time. Is a point, right? It will come when it's meant to come. I think that means having faith both in yourself and in the universe. This is a spiritual part that we need to develop. We might say, if you want in a hurry, it doesn't come. What people tend to do is give up. Oh, it hasn't
Mm.
happened. I failed. I'm like, you haven't failed. You've learned something. I'm sure. That's a better way of looking at it because things will come when at the right time. Even if I go as far as to exaggerate and say, say as Michelle says in the comments, there is something called God's time,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that's utter faith. But I think at the same time, you must believe in yourself because
Mm.
if you don't believe in yourself, then you think you failed before you even started, right? But
Yeah.
think that timing, God's
Mm.
timing, your timing, the opportunities that reveal themselves, timing, all of that has to work together. Interesting. And so more than just having faith, it is the persistence to keep going. You know, so this is the bit I didn't want to forget today because I didn't write it down. I said, you know, I better remember it's what I thought. It's something called stickability. You know, like to stick,
Stickability.
persistence, to stick on the road. You know, stick. You know, even if everything good takes a long time. Writing a book takes a long time. You know, building a business takes a long time. So my friend Dr. Paula Washington, she'll tell you if someone hasn't even been in business for 20 years, they're not really going to be successful. Now, some would say it takes 4 to 9 years to build a business. You know, but the point is that you're not going to build a successful business overnight. You're just not. You're just you're just not. You know, and some of the things I'm going to cover today, I guess, is part of the process of developing that patience. And so I can give you examples. You know, so, many of the things I would say, you know, Victoria pretty much mentioned many of the things we're going to say, you know, around faith, around timing, around belief, belief in yourself, belief in the universe, belief in what's to come will come. You know, it's all of those. Now, resilience is part of the conversation. You know, you should fail again and again and again, but you're not really failing. You're just learning what didn't work. You know, so I think when you have the patience, you'll find the energy, the impetus to carry on and go again. For you must. No, we all have to. You know, otherwise, I would have all stopped by now. So I see Leanna's here. How you doing? Hi to you too, Linda. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Roxana. Oh, it gives me joy to see people. You know, Dr. Queen Leah, you're here as well. Thank you so much for being here. So Dr. Roxana says strategic patience means playing the long game with attention. How true, right? Building systems, strengthening your offer, improving numbers, nurturing relationships, and making decisions based on data, not emotion. Isn't that so true? You know, it's not all data. It is. I guess it's also just that time for things to happen, that time to breathe, that time to think. You know, so when something happens, what do you do? Do you respond because you must respond right now, or do you, take time out? You know, they say the one thing I learned a long time ago is that whenever I do, when someone emails me or messages me, maybe even when I write content, I will write it and leave it for a bit. I will leave it overnight sometimes. Just to stew in my head and to stew on paper. I just, because and I might think something more tomorrow. I might have an angle I don't really want to go down, but I think giving yourself that space, that's not data. That's just, I think, being human. Giving that, trusting yourself that you can sharpen things, you can improve, you can be better tomorrow than you are today, because you will be. And you might make a better decision tomorrow. This is all part of the conversation. Nikki, how are you doing, my friend? Nikki, we can't hear you. And you're not on mute, I don't think. I'm looking on LinkedIn, so let me see. Oh, yeah, okay. Nikki's still on mute. Please unmute.
I've been multitasking.
Yeah, how are you?
I am well, thank you. Greetings, Eni and Victoria,
Hello.
and everyone in the chat.
I suppose I have to ask, is it snowing in where you two are?
It is not snowing where I am. The most we had some snow I'm in Texas, so we did get some snow in Texas and in the Houston area, but not in my area. I just got sleet, cold, and icy. That's what I got.
I feel your pain, but the snow is a weird thing. I don't like it, but those who, it looks good, I must say. Victoria, what about you? Do you have snow around you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm in New Mexico in Santa Fe, and a few days ago we only got about 4 inches. But coming from Florida, just moving here in October, I am like a child. Like, I'm running out there, I'm throwing snowballs, I'm making snow angels. I am loving the snow. I get sad when it goes away. I want more.
I had a feeling there's always one like that, right? It's just not me. I'm quite the opposite. Like, I'm literally if I see snow, I don't go out. I'm not going. I don't care. You can call me what you like. You can call me names. You can threaten me with all sorts. I'm just not gonna drive because my cars don't like snow.
Well, yeah, the
I
right vehicle does help for sure.
Yes, and I learned this very quick. When I was younger, a few years ago, that my car can turn itself around. Literally, I look at the fence. I'm like, how did that happen? I'm just going straight forward, and it scares me. It scares me too much.
Yeah,
that's when I know I've got fragile nerves, so I just don't go. Even if someone says to me, "Annie, it's not snowing down there," I'm like, I'm not coming. So I might die on my own driveway. Because we had a driveway that was at a very steep angle, so I was like, no, I'm just part of the stuff. Anyway, I'm glad you two are in one piece. Enjoying life regardless of your snow. Jay says, we live in the microwave world, but we need a crock pot mindset, a slow cook, right, Jay? I agree with you on that one. And Liana says, good things come to those who wait. Indeed, such true words. Patience is a virtue. It's another one. In this the word of sayings, I suppose, and analogies to think about patience. But we'll come to those. I guess, like I say, I always have to remind people the complexity is that interface between being patient and waiting too long. Simply that, procrastination, delay. God knows, we have a problem with both ends, right? It's like finding the perfect balance. Anyway, we'll come to that before we finish, I'm sure. Nikki, talk to me now. What does patience mean to you, and how does it look in your world? Yeah, I've muted you again. It's not me.
Okay, so
yeah, there you go.
Patience to me is respecting the process. It's not taking shortcuts, even when it is tempting to take the shortcuts. It is sticking to what's important, not what's trendy, not what's catchy, and not what's fast. It's just sticking to what's important, following the plan and sticking to the plan, and again respecting the process. And then also boils down to what is important to you, though. Just so happens the weekly theme for our inspirations this week is hustle, right? And talking about the difference between running a hustle and building a business. And quite honestly, building a business is not for everybody, even if you have an entrepreneurial mind or an entrepreneurial desire. That does not make you equipped to becoming a business owner or a business builder. Getting the structure for a business is easy. I mean, it's as easy as file paperwork, send in a payment. Bam, there you go. You have a structure. You have it set up, right? See, that's the easy part. Building the business is taking the time to actually write the plan, set the goals, set in the systems, build the structure, lay a foundation before you build the structure. Rather, build the structure before you lay the foundation. Foundation, structure, and then you start adding everything else to it. Then you put up the drywalls, right? Hustling is Okay, you have services and you provide your services and you get paid for your services, and you can do that without having systems and structure in place. One is more short term, and even if it endures for years, it can easily die without you. The other leaves legacy and can work when you without you, if you do it right. So it really depends on what's important to you, what you're ready for, what your desire is, and how far you're willing to go.
All of that I totally agree with. I think it is about the trust in the process. Respecting you have to respect the process to trust the process, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that I think knowing what's important to you, again, that's crucial, right? Because a lot of people think speed is what's important. Getting it done now is what's important. And whereas in reality, our aim in business must be to do it at the right time, right thing, right time. That must be the aim, surely. If you to have a different point of view, feel free now. Say, listen, I'm muting. You tell me, because if it's not at the right time, things can't work, right? If you do it too soon, you miss. You miss full stop. You miss the result you want. Do it
Mm-hmm.
too late, and you miss again. Do it too late is too late, right? The opportunity is gone.
Right.
So everything must it must be right time. And
Right.
of course there's no right time on paper, right? There's no patience does not mean sit there looking at yourself. Navel gazing, that's what we call it, right? Don't be doing that. Patience, the time between whatever, the idea and the time to act. So many you can do so many things in that time, right? We can sharpen our swords. I mentioned earlier how when I started my business, I was hoping for big brands to come to me. See, one day it dawned on me, if a big brand came to me, I had no idea what the hell to do with them. I couldn't help them. I dreamt of like a Coca-Cola coming to me and say, "Any, do our marketing." I didn't have. What would I have done with them? What the hell? I had nothing I would have done would have helped them. And all I would have done is embarrass myself and let myself down. I'd probably close shop afterwards. Even though I'm sure I could have made some money out of them. But deep down, you're not ready. That's part of the process, right? You're not ready. So I was nowhere near ready. So in 10 years that's been, I've learned more, I've done more, I've built experience. I've built insights, I've built processes, systems, as Dr. Roxana said, right? So I mean, it's knowing how to use that time to develop yourself. I think part of the aim must be also to become the person that does that. So I know Victoria well enough. I know your mission to create this wraparound service for people who have a need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine if 100 people dumped on you a year ago and said, "Victoria, we're here. Help us."
Yeah.
What would you have done?
Well, it's funny you say that because 2 years ago, or maybe three now, my property in Florida, I had 10 acres and I didn't know what to do with the property. And I thought, oh, I'm going to build a healing center here. So I hired an architect, I hired an attorney. I was crossing my T's and dotting my I's, pouring money into it. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I've never run a business in my life and I don't know anything about it. All I had was this vision, and talk about not having patience. Instead of letting it unfold organically, right? I was trying to jump ahead of the line and just fake it till I make it kind of thing. Well, needless to say, because I didn't have the patience to wait and I would not listen to myself, like what you just said, we know I would not hear that voice. I was like, nope, you just go stand over there in the corner. I got this. And then I had to learn, or got to learn the hard way, that, Vic, you are not ready. It's a great idea. It's a great plan, but I don't think this is the time. So now I get to pack my patience. And now I am patiently waiting for 2 or 3 years now to see if I am supposed to have this healing center or not. I don't know, but now I'm not forcing it anymore. I'm trusting it.
So of course, I like that. And then for many in business, I think many people are not going in 2 years, 3 years time, in 5 years, essentially, or especially, you're not going to be doing what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I think like you, Victoria. If I go back 2 years, I was doing something different. Meant at least how in terms of how it feels, right? Yes, I was doing books, but I was doing the marketing of books. My partner was the one writing the books and publishing the books. I was more focused on marketing. I still do marketing now, but it's much less a part of my daily tasks. Someone asked me the other day, why don't you talk about marketing? I'm like, because I haven't worked it out. I've got more of a solution through events like this because I do a lot of it. And I've done it for years. So I know more about events, more about books than I know about marketing is so individual. The same formula if I can do the same thing for you and and anyone else, you and Nikki, for example, it might work for one, it probably won't work for the other one. It can everything. It's a patience thing. To do what Dr. Rosana said. Test different methods, find the one for you. That takes time. It takes money. It really does. Social media is good, but it's not good. Many people don't get any clients from social media. They just don't. Now, for other people, running ads is half the answer. But I think is knowing what you want from the experience. Social media will give you visibility. Of course, it will. Events like this. So I know what I do. So events like this will get you customers every so often, but essentially what I'm doing, I think, is I'm giving people visibility, which gives them a feeling that nothing else does. And so Victoria and Nikki being on stage now, they know that you're actually looking at them, right? That's my goal, really. For once, we have your eyes and your ears in a way nothing else online does. So that we can convert that into relationships, into a long-term strategy to engage and convert, right? Engage and serve. That's another way of looking at it. I'm saying that I know what I do, but many people in marketing, they promise you all sorts. You're like, how are you going to do that? Sometimes I talked to a friend of mine yesterday. I want to create an agency that's going to get everyone. It's going to have everything everyone needs. I'm like, really? Yeah, content writer, social media, email. I'm like, okay. Why do you need me then? Why are you talking to me? Because if you're so good at marketing, get your own customers. But bear in mind, my friend, if you can't do it for yourself, no one's going to trust you. That's a marketing conundrum. That's that most marketers never answer. They tell you that what they do works, so we get you customers, but they can't do it for themselves. I'm like, that's
right.
That's why people don't want to pay for marketing. So I get it. So, but if you can square that circle, if you can figure out the X factor, what happens? Say a friend like that, another friend of mine, Cyrus, for example. He mentioned yesterday. He does design. He's done design for a long time. But it took him a long time to work out that design alone is not enough. So his second string to his bow is driving traffic to your website. I thought that was quite brilliant. I thought that's how businesses really work. You have to evolve with time.
Yes.
Patience lets you evolve, lets you grow, lets you find some truths. But a lot of people just don't have that patience at all. Anyway, let me stop talking. I talk way too much when I'm allowed to talk. All right. My friends, let me welcome some more people who've joined us. And then I suppose, I mentioned earlier this fine line between doing having patience and overthinking it. Where do you think that line is? Whether it's overthinking, analysis paralysis, call it what you like, but we wait too long, basically. Navel gazing, looking at that literally rather than getting on with it. you know, where is that line? What are your thoughts on that? So I'll come back to you in a second. Let me see who's here. Oh, Dr. Yvonne's here. How are you doing, Dr. Yvonne? Thank you. Well, you don't show up as a LinkedIn user anymore, so that's a relief. Now, timing is everything indeed. Patience, was a lesson indeed for all of us, right? Jackie, I see you, superstar. How are you doing? So glad you're here. Jay, welcome to Stanley. So always happy to have you here. Of course, I'm always happy to promote the group. Stanley's Power Thinking, a group I'm a member of. Our room is tonight. Well, his room is tonight. So the Power Thinking, there is a version of it on LinkedIn. So if you want to go along, you're welcome to join. Jay, so-called Liana as well. If I've missed anyone, do forgive me. Our system is doing funny things, right? Kimberly, have I mentioned you? I'm sure I've mentioned you earlier. So glad you're here. Right, my friends. So let's talk about this. Let's say this fine line between taking action, being patient, and being too slow, overthinking it, delay, procrastination, all that stuff. Nikki? Nikki, go. Let's hear your thoughts. Now, where is that line?
So that line is making excuses to not take action.
Ooh, I like that.
Because you want everything to be perfect and you don't want to make any mistakes. So you try to prevent flaws or accidents or being misunderstood or misperceived. And all these things will stop you from taking action. It'll stop you from it'll have you busying yourself with being busy instead of being productive. That's it. I'm gonna land right there.
I like that. I do like that. It's saying making excuses. Cool. God knows, we're all good at that, right? And I think I think that's such a good way to look at it, because I think when we're waiting because we're making excuses, and the one thing we hear every day, I hear it very often. It gives me a rash, literally. Mental rash, physical rash. Is I would, if only that was or that is. And they truly believe that they're being reasonable. They think they're being sensible. They think they're being smart. I would do that if I had money. I would do that if the sun was blue. I'm saying that is such a weird way of being. I think it's such that is fear. As you say, these excuses is fear, right?
It's completely fear.
Yeah.
It is not just fear of failure, but it's also fear of success.
Yeah, true. So I might say many people are scared of fear of success as they are fear of failure, because we it's not they, because I think we've been there, right? I think it's realizing that our comfy little life that we know, that we're used to, will change. If we truly are successful, if we actually achieve the dreams that we have, the visions that we have in our heads, we can't live our comfy life, right? I'm thinking of the really big people. I'm saying Elon Musk can't just live a normal life. He can't. We know. We must know that. Bill Gates can't live a normal life. Even the corner shop owner can't live a normal life, because deep down he's got serious worries every day. From stocks to staff to everything is a problem. I say our lives will change if we ever actually succeed. And most people don't want to make that change. They're quite happy with
Mhm.
they're quite happy, staying because staying with what they know, staying with what they're comfortable with.
Yes.
And some people that's misery. That's consigning themselves to misery. Literally, I mean misery. I don't say the words as a mistake. They'd rather stay in pain than embrace the change that comes with succeeding. But I think I think the other point I think is worth making that you bring up, Nikki. Perfection. I'm not ready.
Perfection.
I'm not ready. I need to learn more. Yeah, I need to be better. Yeah, that we all.
Right.
Who was
Because,
saying? Who
because
was saying?
here's the thing, Victoria. Here's the thing. No matter how much you know and how good you are, there is always going to be room for better.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be room for you to learn more because the more you know, the more things change.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's true. Look, it's so true. There's a simple rule, my friends, which I tend to live with, right? There's something called the 70% rule. If you can convince yourself that you know 70% of what you need to get started, get started. You learn along the way. No one knows 100%, as you say, Nikki. No one knows 100%. I think saying I want to, this right time thing is such is a weirdism. It's lying to ourselves, and it's just giving us a false reason in our minds to delay. There's again something I read, and I say, the perfectionist didn't miss the train; they just didn't board the train. you know, that's the truth, right? they were waiting on the platform. The train was going, and they were waiting. That's why they're not on the train, right? Don't be that person.
I like that.
You go, Victoria. So I said, so again, now, where is this? Where's this fine line to you, as far as you can see?
Yeah. For me, I mean, I love everything that Nikki said. Yeah, I can totally relate. For me, the foundation I needed to build for myself, trust. It wasn't until I let go and gave up the illusion that I was ever in control of anything, right?
Uh-huh.
Backing up and looking at the big picture and saying, you know what, I'm not in control. I never really was. So why don't I try this new way of doing things? Because my way is not really giving me the peace and the happiness and joy that I'm looking forward to. So learning to trust myself, and what that meant for me was listening to the universe, listening and seeing the signs and saying, okay, if this is supposed to happen, I trust that it's going to happen at the right time. In the meantime, I'm not going to sit here and navel gaze. Is that what it's called? Whatever you call that. I'm
That's
going
what
to
it is.
do, yeah, I'm going to do my due diligence, and I'm going to maybe attempt to start a coaching business, which I have, and I'm going to write my second book, which I'm getting ready to start.
Yay!
And thank you. I'm doing like what feels good. I'm sitting with myself, listening to my higher self, and I feel good in my body. I feel good in my soul. So that tells me that, I'm still on the right path, and not to judge it, right? Because there's no
Right.
right or wrong in any of this. Everything is a lesson. So maybe somebody would have said, oh, maybe last year, maybe you should have started your healing center. You should have done this. And I say, maybe I should have. I don't know. But I'm learning as I go as well.
I love
Right.
that.
I
See,
love
like,
it.
so business takes years, right? And
Yes.
we will arrive at the point of that we're trying to arrive at the right time. Back to Nikki's point about trusting the process, trust the process, trust the process. Like well, you just said, Victoria. Listen, trust yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Saying that if you are living in, if you are delaying because out of fear, that's not trusting yourself. That's living with fear and letting fear stop you. You know, again, Michelle said the only right time is right now.
That's right.
Authenticity and integrity. So being real to yourself and being honest with yourself. That's what those two words mean to me, right? An honest person will, we will always be wrapped in God's grace. Again, this is any who's not religious at all, but I know you're right. Things. Again, people tend to ask me, why are you talking about God when you are in a business room? See, the way I understand it is this: the things we talk about, they allow the world to happen around us. They say, when we say, at the right time, what does that mean? It means there will come a moment when things suddenly fall into place, either the opportunity or the solution, right? That's when you act. I say, literally, who creates that? If you believe in nothing, then it's very hard to believe what those words are. Things will fall in place at the right time. Things will come to you when they should. So I think you have to believe in something bigger than us.
Right.
So that's where faith comes in. I don't know what else to put it down to. And I say I can call it the universe if I choose to. I'm saying, but there's a greater power than us that makes patience work when it should. But even within all that, we have to be very prepared to work. Do the work. We have to do the work on ourselves. Do the work in our environment. And maybe also do the work on our thinking. We must. So I say, if we're going to live with fear, it's not going to happen. If we're going to live with doubt, it's not going to happen. We're going to live with, I guess, the wrong intentions. It's not going to happen either. It's strange that, right?
Mm-hmm. And may I piggyback on that?
Of course you can.
So for me, I make it a point. Matter of fact, it's not even necessarily intentional. It's natural for me to talk about God in a business room because God is number one in my life. Number one. Number two, my business and everything that I do, I'm held accountable to God first, then others. I don't even lay my plans are not just my plans. This is how I move. This is how I choose to move. This is how I choose to engage the world. I choose to engage the world no matter what I am doing. I choose to engage the world through God first. My business is a faith-centered, not faith-based, but it is faith-centered, AI-driven, future-focused. It's part of my brand. Faith is part of my brand culture, part of the brand personality. Faith is part of the brand.
I fully understand. It has to be. I think it has to be part of everything that we do. Again, so we're talking about patience. There's a bigger power that will make our patience come to pass, right? There's a bigger power that makes rushing not lead us to the results we want in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Less haste, more speed, they say, right? It's such a it's a weird concept. But I think those who learn to trust the process, those who learn to think long term, and those who learn to do their due diligence, as Victoria said, right? Those who learn to actually listen to their soul,
Yes.
be honest with themselves. Things will come at the right time. To do anything else but those things will slow us down. Because if we're impatient, which many people are today, sadly, life would teach us how to learn how to be patient. Life would teach us that we can't have what we want today because because we just can't, right? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You must do the right things along the way. And whilst you're doing the right things, you must, I guess, keep learning. Keep learning and keep creating. I think that's the Victoria's Second book, for example. That's what that sounds like to me, right? Because we need the experience first and foremost before we can actually achieve greatness. Many people want greatness tomorrow, as if you can just wake up, think it, and then do it. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. You doing it means nothing because everyone can do it. But that's not how the world works. The world tells you, like I say, you must become the person who does that. So I talk about this when I speak on stages, and I say it's quite simply, if you want to be a doctor, learn to think like a doctor, talk like a doctor, walk like a doctor, do what a doctor does, and guess what? By the end of that, you're going to become a doctor. Strange, right? It's the same in business. If we want to be the person who does that, start somewhere and begin to. It's not mimicking. It's not fake it till you make it. It's do the work to become the person who does that. There's no other way I can say it.
Right.
This is why when people say try, now don't try. Do.
Right.
Do.
Yes. Yes.
Do and learn.
Do what you can. Do what you can.
Exactly.
Do that thing that you know to do, even if you don't do it perfectly.
Yeah, I can
You
agree.
can learn from whatever flaw
Mm.
you see. See, then you learn from the flaw. But you'll never. But when you're first getting out there, the thing the only thing that you can do wrong to me when you first jump out there is to not act in integrity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to not do what you said that you were going to do.
Yeah.
Other than that, you succeeded. You took action.
I agree. I genuinely say I agree with you. I think the word failure is, probably one of the most absurd words in our language because you haven't failed. You've just learned. You learned something. I say that sometimes you learn what doesn't work. Sometimes you learn what does work, which you might do better next time, or differently next time. Failure is not. That's just, again. I think that's an internal thing. That's an internal conversation we're having with ourselves, which is not real. Right, so I always know. So I've learned to realize that our thinking, if it serves us, we can do more of. But either way, our thinking is what we think, what we feel, is rarely real. It's our perception, it's our interpretation. So because I might think I failed, but you will see and you think, as Nikki just said, you took action, you did something. Yeah, it didn't work, but you haven't failed. I have conversations every day. So I was talking to my friend Kelly a few days ago, I'm sure yesterday, in another room. He's written 2 books. So the first one, it's like, well, I wrote it, I marketed it, it failed. I'm saying, it hasn't failed because the principles are still right. Which brings us back to your point, Nikki. If you do everything to the best of your ability, then you can only learn. And if you do everything to the best of what then next time you can only do better. You can only improve, right? The issue is when we turn up half-hearted, half-minded, is essentially, right? Have different ulterior motives in our head. That's when we do something and then we'll start making excuses, real excuses, Nikki. If only saying the sky was green that day, damn. And again, every excuse we've ever heard. There's people who have health issues just at the important moments in life. I know people have health issues. I'm saying it's rare that everyone's afflicted with a doctor's appointment on a certain date. I'm like, how can that be? Some of you are not being honest. Surely, how many cats? How many cats get ill when you say, "People, time to pay up"? They're like, "Oh, my cat has a vet bill. My dog has it." You're like, "Damn, it's bad luck day for everyone. Can it be so?"
Well, mm.
I want to show a couple of videos, and I'm sure, I hope it works. I guess it's just to give us a different perspective on the conversation. Okay, let me go with this, man. If I can work out, okay, growth in entrepreneurship and business. Okay, let me try that. Then I should see who's here. Who do I want to work on? There are a couple of short ones. Where are we? Just share screen. It's a new tab. Okay, tab. Yeah, that one. All right, let's try it. Let's see how it works. Here goes, my friends.
To personally look at that, we want our businesses to grow fast. And a lot of times the media and other things kind of influence that we kind of have to be this overnight success, which simply isn't true. To be perfectly honest, most entrepreneurs, they take somewhere around like 4 to 9 years to really achieve great success. And it's not an overnight thing. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of failing. It's a long process, and that's why there aren't many successful entrepreneurs out there. There are only a handful. It's because it just takes so much work, and so many people give up. They give up when they see the first sign of disappointment. And my God, to be a successful entrepreneur, you're going to have a lot of disappointments. There are going to be disappointments everywhere, but you need to just get back up. You need to like brush the disappointments to the side, because they're going to happen. Those are inevitable, and I like this one quote. I hear it all the time. I don't know where it's quoted from, but it states something like, tough times will pass. They'll pass. Tough people don't. And that's the truth. People who are tough and don't give up and they just keep striving, they will, I'm guaranteeing it, will get on top. They will get on top and be at the top. It's those tough people, the people that just get out of their comfort zone and constantly work and become better as a person. They will achieve greatness. And I want to just throw that out there, give you a kind of brief overview. I've gotten a new post on our entrepreneurtenacity.com website. It's a post that talks about momentum in business and why overnight success isn't realistic. I'm going to put a link down in the description. You can click that link. It'll bring you right to that online article. If you like the article, definitely subscribe to our entrepreneurtenacity.com website. You can do that on
Have a generous relationship with advertising service, right? Oh no, I've lost everyone. I haven't lost everyone. I just can't see them, right?
Yeah.
The buttons. Saying, I think that he said pretty much what we've said so far, right? It's being prepared to work, my friends. The work must be done. You can't expect the results unless you put the work in. And those who succeed, hell, they have to work. Take that away from here today. Really, we have to work. And it's not for a day, it's not for a week, it's not for a month, it's not for a year. We have to work. Those who make it, I was part of the delusion when I started in business. I told my wife, look, everyone is marketing. Of course, everyone is online marketing, right? Because we live in an area where people still post leaflets on trees and lampposts. I'm like, that's not work, right? They need me, right? And many people would agree they need me. They're like, when they talk to us, I'm sure all of us here, right? Victoria, Nikki as well, especially. I've said people look at you and go, I need your help. I need your service. When you say there's a number behind it, there's a number to get my service, right? It's called a price, a cost. Call it what you like, an investment.
Right.
Then suddenly
Right.
it starts, no, you're like, what's cat got your tongue is what we're saying in England. Right?
Right. 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 Oh my goodness. Is that not so? But you know what I have learned with that? I have learned that people in your immediate circle value what you have to offer, but they don't value you being the person with the offer.
Sure, so I suppose, it makes us ask the question, in my world anyway, is it because they don't trust us?
No,
Have we done
it's
enough?
familiarity. It is familiarity. That's
Yes.
all it is. It is familiarity brings comfort.
Yeah, and all that. I
So
think,
what we have to do is we have to be willing, brace yourselves, because what I'm about to say is sometimes easier said than done. Okay? You have to be willing to move your familiar circle around for your business success. You have to start limiting their access to you. Because if you do not limit their access to you, you then devalue your own worth of your offer.
agree. I seriously agree. Say, Nikki, I seriously agree. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, right? She has, a card making event going on for Valentine's, right? So I looked at it. It's on Eventbrite, and I looked at it and I thought, okay, how much does this cost? There's no cost on there, right? So it turns out, that you can put whatever you like, $1, 50 cents if you choose, right? Whatever, and then if you put in whatever number you put there, you get a ticket. So I was like, okay, this should be easy to sell, but it's not going to be easy to sell. You need to talk to your best friends, right? Your true best friends. I talk to your real friends. I did a workshop on the 12th. And I talked to my best friends, and I'm like, you lot must come. You must come. And I'm sure you two got a message from me saying, come, come along. That's from Plan to Profit workshop. So all my friends got a personal invite, right? And then I got 10 people who turned up and paid their money, which is fine. So I'm happy with that, right? But this friend of mine yesterday, she's telling me, no, this person won't pay. I'm like, it's only $1. What if they won't pay $1? Why are you still talking to them? Why are you giving them space in your world? As you just said, Nick, you need to move these people around. We need to move them. It's not that you don't pay for my workshop. It's not that you don't pay for the card making thing. It's that they'll never pay for anything, anything, any day of the week. So that can't be right? That can't be correct. If someone will never invest in themselves with you or anyone else, I don't know how I can't square the circle that we're on the journey of self-improvement, of goal achievement. I just can't lie to myself that way, right?
Right.
I think people, we need to move those people around. I love how you say, sometimes we just need to just say, you know what, I still love you, but yeah, I'm going to spend time with more people who are willing to, who are on a growth journey, because that's what I hope we're all on.
And I'll tell you something else you can do. Brace yourselves. Brace
Go on.
You can also refer them to someone else in your niche that their cost of their services exceeds your cost at least 2 to 3 times the amount.
I like that. I like that. And then they might begin to appreciate you. Look, as I say again, in the world I live in, there's more that we can do. Maybe
Yes,
if not with those people, Nikki, maybe there's more that we can do to make more of the right friends,
right.
especially
Absolutely.
especially in
Absolutely.
2026. We have to but it's not a coincidence. I say, and we can change that situation, that dynamic. Those who don't have is one thing. Those who choose not to are the ones
Right.
that's truly make they make me, yeah, shake my head. And then because now, as we give away free, we feel resentful,
Right.
and
Right.
I refuse to feel resentful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it freebies, okay. But anyway, we have me up here today. Why? Freebies have their place.
Mm, mm,
But the place for your freebies are not in your familiar circle.
yeah,
Your freebies are for your website, your social media, the people that might be aware of you but not know you.
yeah. No, the
That's
ones
who
I
your
call
freebies are for.
randoms, random people.
Exactly.
Maybe cold prospects. Say the same thing. Say there's people who don't know you, and your freebie has to bring them in. To and just get to know you, get to trust you, get to like you, right?
Exactly.
Again, let's be honest, my friends. Again, this might take time, right? And we have to
Yes.
do work with our prospects.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the business person's goal will be to convert,
Yes.
to get you to pay something. To
Yes.
get someone to pay something, right? If
Yes.
everyone decides I'm never gonna pay, we're in trouble. We're not gonna have a business at the end. We're gonna be bankrupt, and then we can't help
Right.
it.
Exactly. You're gonna have a hobby. Let's face it. Come on, let's get real here. We have all given a lot of freebies to our familiar circle already.
Yeah.
We've given them the freebies on the phone calls. We've given them the freebies during visits, over coffee,
Mm.
at the get togethers. That's supposed to be just a get together. And that you just came to literally just get together. And somehow, because of what they're doing, they know what you're doing to help what they're doing. They want to turn what was supposed to be your relaxed time, your get together time, into business time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
but when you send them the calendar, the conversation kind of gets to a stop. But see, but you have to respect your time, Annie,
yes,
because
yes,
here's the
we
thing, Annie.
do.
There's not but one you. There's
Mm,
not. There's only one Annie.
mm,
Annie,
mm.
Victoria. Hello, Arlene. Arlene and I. We all have 24 hours in a day. We're not working 24 hours a day. And sometimes we're sleeping, eating, and if you're around Annie, at sometimes you're on a live event. Okay, so we don't have enough time on our calendars alone to continue to give out free advice and free information of our expertise
Mm.
that needs to be put on the calendar for our paying clients and customers.
I agree. I agree. I
And if
agree.
you don't set those boundaries, if you don't establish those boundaries,
Mm.
your familiar circle will step all over it, all over
Yeah.
you, and you'll be resentful because
Yeah.
but it's your fault because you didn't establish the boundary.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this:
Again.
brace yourselves. Anyone that you lose in your familiar circle because your name and your expertise comes with a dollar sign were people that were no longer supposed to be in your circle.
I agree. I
Your
agree.
relationship
I
has
agree.
ran its course.
I agree. I agree. Again, this is purely about people who choose never to invest. Even if you gave them £1 million, $1 million, when as much as you say my thing costs money, my time costs money, my service costs money, they'll still be like, no, you know. See that's it's anyway. It causes me heartache, but no, but like you say, Nikki, they have to go. I'm not doing that out of malice. Maybe I'm just not the right person for you. I clearly haven't done enough work on that person, right? What I'm saying? But deep down, we have to learn to do the work. Which means looking at the people around us.
Here's
And
another option.
go on.
I have another option. Tell them that you will gladly give them a discount if they send you a parent referral in the next 5 days.
You've been very kind. I'll say that. You've been very kind. I love that pet behind Victoria. It's a dog, right?
I'm sorry.
Is that
Oh,
your
my
dog? Is that your
dogs.
dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there they are. They're playing at the exact worst moment. And I'm trying to give them the side eye. And I'm like, not, like, don't play now. I'm doing this thing. And
No,
they're like,
play,
nope, no
play.
way. So I'm
What's
sitting
the
here
bark?
going, oh my God, I hope they
No,
don't
it's
notice.
fine. It's fine, man.
Oh,
When
pets, listen, pets have no respect of business, okay?
So sweet.
Hi, doggies. Hi,
They are
yeah.
sweet. They are sweet.
Hello,
I
hello.
apologize for the
No,
interruption.
don't apologize. Never. You never have to apologize.
puppies. Right. They're doing what fur babies do.
Yeah, at least they're not barking, which pets tend to do. They want to take over.
Yes.
My
Thank
cat
God.
came in, decided that I wasn't worth sitting with, so off she went. So I'm all right with that. I've done my
Don't
bit.
take it personal.
Yeah, I won't. I'm all right, thanks. Alavine, talk to us. What's your take on our topic? Patience, my friend. Our
Hello, hello.
true superpower in business. It really is.
Yes. So first of all, hello, happy New Year. Happy
Yeah.
to nice to meet you, Miss Victoria and Miss Nikki.
Likewise.
Greetings,
So that's
greetings. It's 2026.
yes. So about passion, I think we need it and we need to build it because I think without passion we will have nothing. Because when we are in a rush, we have nothing. We can't help no, someone. We can do anything. Let me give you a pretty simple example. I've got from my years on when I were a volunteer at Red Cross. And I coach people about, let's say, in English, I could say the resilience tutor. I mean, it was about being resilient and helping people who were homeless to leave their homelessness to be again in this world of socialites, etc. So it was the way to um, be their tutor in order to help them to find their resilience, to be able again to have a job, to be clean, to have a home, etc. And that, because I taught that to people and also myself. So that for me is the best example of how much we need to be passionate. We need to have these passions and we need to build it because we can't expect someone who live in the street. So I take this very raw example to show you that it is the same for our business. Okay, so when someone is a homeless person, we don't know what had happened in his life. So we need to be patient. We need to take the time to lead this person from his comfort zone, if I can say, because he's comfortable in his life because he knows everything. He knows where he can be safe, etc. So we need to help him to from this comfort zone to another very good comfort zone. I mean, having a job, maybe being in touch with his family again, etc., having a house, etc. So it is something very difficult, and it needs from us to be passionate, to be attentive, and to be um, careful also. So because when you rush them, they will run away. A bad look, you look at them maybe with a little condescension or something like that, and they will run away. For a business is the same. When you want to build your business, you need to pay attention, you need to be patient with yourself and with others, because sometimes they need time to discover what do they need, and if they really need to go on the left or on the right, because sometimes they are like, oh, I'm lost, I'm just lost, I don't know what to do. And sometimes they just need more time, sometimes they just need to be said, okay, stop that. I see now you are doing nothing specific, but we need to have the right balance, and we need to learn how to build that passions. And I think when we want to build that, it means we need to go beyond our own frustration, and we need to not have a lot of expectations toward others. I mean, we can have high expectation, but we need to understand maybe it is not the right time for doing this or that activity we want to do, or to open a next step for a business, etc. So sometimes we need to see and to have, let's say, a roadmap in order to know which step we need to take, because we need also to know where we are right now. And I would also say it is very hard to build this passion. It is very hard because often we have others' expectation under for us. We are under pressure. Our family members will say, you are, I don't know, 30, for example. You are 30, it is time for you to get married, to have a child, and so and so, and you are like, but yes, but I'm not ready for that. I am building my company. I am building, I don't know, whatever it is. But sometimes we need to calm down, and to listen to our own rhythm. And it is very hard when we have pressure from outside, and also our inner pressure. That's my words for the moment. Thank you for listening. You're
Yeah,
mute. You're mute,
don't worry.
Annie.
I know. I get to it very slowly, right? So I'm sure your words resonate with Victoria, because this is another type of patience I was thinking about when we started. We need to be patient indeed. Especially when it involves other people. I'm
Mhm.
trying to help. We're trying to say, trying to support, help, call it what you like, right? When we're trying to change people, when we're trying to impact people, we need to give them time and give ourselves the time to have the impact we want to have. That's very different to the business. Presence in business. Like I say, just because people are in a situation doesn't mean that they're going to change straight
Mhm.
away. That they're going to change instantly, because like you said, they got their own baggage, their own hang-ups, their own background. Victoria, and I'm sure that Alavin's points resonate with you, given the people that you work with as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, people, it keeps boiling down to trust for me. And when I work with people too, because ultimately that's what it's about. You're trusting, you're learning how to trust your higher self, right? We're getting the ego out of the driver's seat. So it makes people uncomfortable and made me uncomfortable that the voice I had listened to got me this far, but it doesn't serve me anymore. I don't want to be in survival mode. I want to start listening and fulfill my dream of living this life, being this new version of myself. So it wasn't until I felt safe and I could trust that I could start to see things from a different perspective. And I started to realize, holy cow, I'm the one actually creating everything that happens around me. I'm the one, writing the story. So once, I started to build up the trust and I let go of the wheel, that's when I was tapping into my patience. And I learned that acceptance and patience go hand in hand. It's like when you're at a red light and you're like 5 minutes late already to an appointment and you miss the light, are you going to freak out and get mad and yell and all that? Or are you just going to have acceptance? It's a very jagged pill to swallow for me, and say, I can just be here in peace and realize I can't control the traffic or the light. It is what it is. There's something I'm supposed to learn here. Let me look at it from that perspective.
And learn to be more at peace with ourselves, right?
Mm,
And you say, and I think acceptance and trust go together, but I think also time and trust go together,
mm,
especially in business. Again, fly by night people. If you know what that means, right? They fly in and they're gone by nighttime, right? They don't get the trust. They don't give yourself trust. That's how you're gonna be in life or in business. It's really going to work. Maybe it might work for you, but so you come and tell us why it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I think people, the longer you are around doing what you do consistently is what builds trust. Being who you are, and people get to know who you are, get to know you, like you, trust you.
mm,
Now, that takes time. If you think about it, on LinkedIn, there's many people who will suddenly drop in and suddenly there's loads of noise, and you're like, I'm just going to wait patient and just look. And before you know it, they're gone. And rightly so, rightly so. I don't mourn them. I don't even think it, and I just think, oh well. Almost. I think many of us just say, I knew that was going to happen.
mm,
I mean, whereas be the person who the slow burn, Jay's idea of the crock pot, rather than the
mm.
oven, rather than the microwave, which is even quicker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hang around a bit more. If you want people to trust you, give them time. I think what I want to what Alavine says, and what it goes to what Nikki was saying, really, in terms of you know people. I say we think if we give something away free, they will love us. They will come in numbers. No, 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 really. They might need your service, but they won't come in numbers the way you think. You still got to do the work.
Mhm.
You still got to build the relationships for the very reason we're talking about now, which is a trust thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying earlier, Nick. We need to build a trust. We need to build those relationships. Before people will give us. Maybe the commodity is not really money. Maybe the commodity that we're selling really is time. Our time, their time. That's what's valuable, really.
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
and that takes time. It takes patience to get people to be willing to give you their time.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm saying in business, it's a long game.
A-
Go
and
on.
it takes just a bad look, or yes, let's say a bad look, for someone to have their trust completely shattered.
Yeah.
So we also need to pay attention to our nonverbal, and also our body language,
Mm.
because they are
Mhm.
very important, as well as our words and our action. Because sometimes we have good actions, we worked consistently for months, for years, everyone knows us, around us, and just one bad look, one bad action, and everything is over. Or the trust we earned
Mm.
shattered just
Mm.
in 1 second, just
Yeah.
in one bad action, or one bad look. I remember that a lot of people told me, I want to work with you because no matter my appearance, no matter my clothing, your eyes never change. You always have the same way to look at me. I wear very good clothes, designer clothes. You look at me like I'm a human. I wear maybe thrift clothes. You look at me like I'm a human. So it is for that I really think that we need to be careful to our body language as well
Mm.
as our passions and acceptance, and also the hard work. We need
Yeah.
to have a balance around
Mm.
all of this. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, again, I agree with you. I think I think the time it takes for people to trust you is as much about us learning to be ourselves, our real selves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing. We can pretend. We can fake it till we make it. For a week, a month, maybe even a year. But one day the mask will slip. As Alavin's saying, it takes years to build trust, and you can lose in a moment. And some people they rightly lose. That's because their real intentions, their real personality comes out, and you think, damn, you know, the mask has slipped. So I suppose my thing is, develop to become that person who does the right intentions in the right way, with the right goals, and do all that, right? Don't pretend. Don't be. See, nothing upsets me, my little spirit, more than what I call charlatans. They look one way today. If you see them tomorrow, you think, who's that, right? And my friends will know I'm very upfront about this. And I say, if I call someone my friend, I will have a conversation with them. Really, I'm not going to turn on you on any day of the week. I'm going to be me, whether you see me now or you see me in 10 years' time, I still be me. Right. And I expect the same of you. I just want you to be you. I don't expect you to be anything different. So Michelle in the audience now, she knows that we've had this conversation. So it doesn't time. Time is what it is. I said, but no, I think we all need to be authentic, real, our real selves. Don't bring a fake version of you to business because it's not going to work. So Alavina, I accept your
Mm.
point entirely, right? So the trust can just go instantly, and it is how sometimes it's even not even what we do. It's just our true selves show, and then we're in trouble. Victoria, you're thinking, and I say, I can see, I can't see the other two thinking. I can see you thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great points. I preach authenticity a lot, like with the people that I work with, and it's so funny how I would say half of them don't know what I mean by that.
Hmm.
They're puzzled. What do you mean authentic? What do you mean? I'm being honest right now. What do you mean be authentic? And I'm like, oh boy, what this is the game. This is the life we live in, that everything is an illusion,
Mm,
like what you think is truth. Is it really your truth? Is it your truth? Or was it
mm,
your mom's truth, your dad's truth, your grandmother's truth?
mm,
So that, a lot of people don't, they get scared to go
mm,
there,
mm.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might even it's probably more likely to be a social media trend that they're coming out
Mhm.
with, which is I said but some people think that's the truth, right? So there is your real self. I think we need to, and let's say that this conversation is about who we're becoming in business, who we're
Mm.
becoming in our lives, and we have to be that person who we desire to be, who does what we do, who thinks the way we do, who serves people the way that we say we do, right? And so all of that takes time to put in place. To make to truly practice, refine, deliver over and over and over. That's when success comes to us. That's what patience gives us, right? Yeah, overcome all the challenges, even the bleak days, the days when you're thinking this is all gone wrong.
Mm.
with patience, we can have the faith that it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen.
Mm.
And we must have that in business. So otherwise, we're not going to be here too long. That's what. Yeah, Miss Yolanda's turned up. How you doing, Yolanda? Great to see you, of course. I wish I could lie and say I'm going to be working your book tonight. Probably not. I have to do my tax returns. Yes, I like the tax man. Not anyway. That's me being honest, right? I'd rather not, but we have to do it. It's part of what we have to do in life, right? My friends on stage, my friends in the audience, how do we develop? How do we develop patience? Now, what are your big tips?
Mm.
Okay,
My, my,
go.
my, my, my tips would be don't compare your journey,
Mm,
your process, and where you are in your part, in your journey, and in your building to someone else. First
yeah.
tip. Second tip would be shut off all the noise that distracts you from being progressive and moving forward that would prevent you from being patient.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. It's just things you do in the dark. When no one's looking. I don't mean dark, real dark. I'm saying when no one's looking. That's what really defines who you are, right? Going back
Mm.
Yes.
to Victoria's point about authenticity. Authenticity. It is who you truly are when no one's looking. That makes a difference. I
Mhm.
like that. I do like that. Victoria, now, what are your top tips to develop patience?
Yeah, is well, first thing, to acknowledge. A lot of people won't even acknowledge that they're impatient, like I used to do. They cling to the story that they are being patient and it's everyone out there that has a problem. So my first goal is, to own it. It's okay, own that you're not perfect, whatever that means, and you're struggling with patience. And
Yeah.
then look at that. So look at why is it? What is under that? Because there's always something under that. Is it a trauma? Is it,
Mm,
was it a bad circumstance? What in your mind is telling you, creating this kind of environment where you feel like you need to do it yesterday or it should have been done? Is it your I'm not good enough stuff? I don't have value and worth. I need to prove to my father right away that I can be a millionaire, right? Like going down underneath what's preventing you from just accepting
mm.
the timing of, God or the universe, the creator, whatever you want to call it, right? And trusting that.
Yeah, yes, and again, yeah, I love that. I think acceptance, who we are, where we are, and
Mhm.
maybe awareness as well. What is underneath all this? What are we really feeling? What is directing our way of being?
Right.
That's where the change really begins. Now, if we're not aware that if we're honest enough to at least accept that we are being a certain way, we can never change it.
Right.
I think we have to be honest with ourselves, and then we can begin on the journey, wherever that's going to lead us, right? No, I like that, Victoria. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alavine, what's your big tips to develop patience?
So I appreciate what Nikki and Victoria said about that part. I would say I think when we are impassioned, it is because we are angry. Often it is because of the anger
Mm.
or the frustration. Okay, so I think it is good to slow down just to check why am I maybe impatient. So why am I impatient? Is it because I'm angry? Is it because I'm afraid of something? Or is it just because I just want to finish that I want to be perfect? And we need to understand that we are not perfect. And one tip would be that we need to relax our body and to see what are our thoughts. I will give that tips about how to build passions, because sometimes we need to see what's going on inside. And because often when someone start to stop being passionate, it is because, oh, come on, faster, you rushing, you know, I need this document now. I need this now. Why are you so slow, so low, etc. So sometimes we just need to see what's going on
Yeah.
with our thoughts and emotions, and just stop being so tense in our body.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. You know, so I like that. You know, we need to just learn to chill, right? You know, chill. Yes, no, and you know, no one ever died because you didn't get a report on your desk at
Yeah.
9 o'clock. You know, so and I appreciate my clients who are patient. I
Yes.
appreciate my friends who are patient. I really do. You know, I say no, nothing can spoil your day in business more than the impatient people of this world. You know,
Mm.
as if someone's gonna die, then they're gonna take ill if you don't do it by this time. But you know, no. You know, so the ones who are, you know, I think that from my end, I think that it's an extension of what you're saying, what everyone said so far. Really, you know, I think you know it is understanding the process. You know, visualize the process. You know, break it down. That's what being strategic means. It means think ahead. You know,
Mm.
think 3 or 4, even 10 steps ahead, right? And then walk your way backwards. You know,
Mm.
and yes, you're going to give each one the time to play out, but at least if you know what the journey looks like, then you can begin to read now to decide where you can prepare more. You know,
Mm.
but don't just let things happen, you know, because you woke up today and this is what happened. And I think try and be more intentional in what happens in your business and how it happens. Now,
Mm.
of course, within all that, how you respond is also important. You know, then and so now just give yourself time. You know, time to just think, time to just be, time to feel, time to enjoy, time to live. You know, I
Mm.
think that's what I say. I saw somewhere, and I said Bill Gates literally he goes away twice a year to his holiday retreat. If only we had one of those, right? You know, he goes away to holiday retreats, and on one of those holiday retreats, you know, he came up with the idea of Microsoft Internet Explorer.
Mm.
And give yourself the time to just think, you know, to just to enjoy, to be. You'll be amazed at what that can do for your thinking and your ideas, your creativity, your solutions that you come up with. I say we can't all be in a hurry. I say, now people ask me, "Any do you sleep?" Of course, I sleep. I sleep, and I try and find those time to just be, just daydream. Now,
Mm.
daydream for a second. Now, have a vision. Enjoy the vision you see for yourself or your business. That will get you there as quickly as you hasten, trying to hasten the world into bend into your will.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I say, and if you have to make a decision, look, take your time. I'm not saying leave it forever. I'm saying give yourself a time, right? You know, this has been decided, you know, but literally, don't. Nothing needs to be done instantly. You know, take some time to breathe, to think about it. But
Mm.
once you've decided, then go for it. You know, if you're gonna do it, then you're gonna do it. If you're not gonna do it, then say so. I'm saying, you know, give yourself some time to think. You know, it will do you good. Yeah, and then it's all right to park things until you know you have a, you know, more information, more idea, a better idea.
Mm.
Yeah, and then that's patience for you. So, the last I'll say, my friends, is building a business. Sometimes it can be a lifetime. Now, for all of us, it's probably going to be a lifetime. All of us.
Mm.
Like, keep that in mind, right? Give yourself, you know, saying what I thought was going to be a 2 year and it will be a multimillionaire thing is now 10 years, 11 years down the line. I said, don't be surprised if your business is the same. I'm not saying everyone's going to take as long as I have, but I think someone said, Nikki said earlier, or was it Alavine, don't compare yourself to others. Take your
Mm.
time. You go down your journey, go down your lane, do what you're doing. You know,
Mm.
people will, uh, people will come to you at the right time. And God, there is a greater power that will give you what you want when the time is right, whatever that looks like. When you're ready, is what that looks like, right? Victoria, I'm going to come to you because I have a conference, an author speakers conference. I'm sure I mentioned it to you in passing. I've gone for the 26th of February. So I want one more speaker. So the topic is why I write.
Ah,
So you got
oh,
15 minutes. 15 minutes,
love
come
it.
and share with us why you write and have inspire us with it's a public speaking exercise. I'm gonna say, I will, of course, I will pay you. Let's talk. Let's work it out. You can say no, then
Yeah.
I'll find someone else. But I've got you in mind. You
Thank
know,
you. I feel like it would be a yes. Yeah. How can I say
excellent.
no to you, Annie? I can never, like, I can be like at Dunkin' Donuts and then I get a text saying going live soon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
donut or any. And I'm like, I have to choose any.
yeah. Thank you. And I love you more for that. More people should do that, right? And so again,
Absolutely.
I'm lucky. I got friends who do that, really, and I'm
Mm,
forever grateful. So look, see how can we give ourselves opportunities? How can we help out each other? How can we, trying to build a business by ourselves is not going to work, right? We have to make real friends, and reciprocate. I think that's. I'm going to talk about that in one of my rooms that's coming up.
mm,
I say, because many people they're just takers, and I'm saying I would need if you don't reciprocate. Whether you're paying it forward or giving back. I'm saying these are
mm,
part of things in business that do matter. A lot of
yeah.
people can ignore all of that, right? But
Mm.
thank you. So we'll talk, Victoria. So
Okay.
I'll DM you and then we can work out.
Perfect.
Of course, there's paperwork that we have to do, and the process. It'd be great to have you on board, though. So I'd love to hear you talk about your journey.
Oh,
I
I'm
know you,
honored.
I know you
I'm
have a
honored.
unique journey, right? I know
Yes.
you got a different
I have a
story.
very, very colorful journey, and I
Right.
love to share it now. That's why I wrote the book. Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
That is
My friends, the event is on the 26th of February, 7 p.m. my time. Was that 2 p.m. In Eastern time? So it's a couple of hours. You got 5 authors. We're going to speak, and then you got the things that we have to do around our sponsors and blah 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 blah. There's all that stuff we have to do, right? It's part of our day. So of course I'll make sure that when I set the event page up, I'll let you all know. Tickets are $10. I have to pay these speakers. No one's doing it for free. I don't want to do it for free. I want to pay
Mm,
the authors. So again, where are we now? 28th of Jan. So I got more than a month to market this thing. I sell some $10 tickets and yeah, and make it worth our
awesome.
while. Now our listeners go away inspired. Our speakers go away, inspired, more confident in their speaking abilities.
Mm,
Because of the things we're talking about today. Because we've started small and built our way up. And that's a game I'm playing even with also speakers. That's a game I play with everything I do, really.
mm,
At the same time, you're still writing your book, right? So I'm saying nothing goes quietly, right? There's no, life is but trying to do it all together, but be
yeah.
mindful of yourself. Don't forget yourself in all of this, right? That's
Mm,
part of the
very
patience
important.
thing. Yeah, and look after yourself. Give yourself the time, the space,
Mm,
and the feelings that come with it, right? So it all
yes.
helps.
Yes.
Nikki, your poetry book is it published?
yes, honey. The book is published. It is live on Amazon.
Oh,
Excellent.
congratulations.
Well
Thank
done.
Congratulations.
you. Thank
Excellent.
you. Yes, yes. I
Wow.
appreciate it. It was yes, it was yes, it
It
was
was it
something.
was
What's the
work. It
name?
was work, Nikki. It was work.
It was it was time consuming to do. It's
Mm,
been a labor of love. It's
yeah.
been a labor of love. We gave birth. honey, to that baby on Christmas Day.
Awesome.
Yes, no. So well done, you. You know, again, so nothing happens quickly. You know, I remember one of my author friends. You know, she was on me before Christmas, chasing me. And I want this published. You know, can it be done by Wednesday, by Friday? But I'm like, have you written the book yet? Nearly finished, right? And this was about 11th of December. And I said to her, take it from me. I'm not being rude. I'm not trying to put you off. I'm just being very honest with you, right? Stop hassling me. Your book is not going to be written this side of Christmas. Let's not
Mm.
publish. It's not, you know, because everything takes time. Where are we now? End of Jan. The book's still not finished, by the way. So I'm saying, no, it's the reality of life is that we need to be more patient. You know, don't be screwing yourself, you know, doing yourself in, and trying to do everyone else around you in as well. Just
Right.
bring patience. Now have some patience. Now things take time, and just take the time to get it done properly and do it properly. That's always the
Mm.
best way, rather than trying to rush anything at all.
Yes,
Michelle,
don't rush it.
go.
Don't rush it.
Yeah, nice. Of course, now do share the links. You know, you got to start sharing the link to your book, Nikki. You know, you have to say that. Although, if you don't share the link, then we can never buy a copy, can we? So, yeah.
Well, one thing I like to do is I like to be respectful, of people's platforms and everything. I don't just bum rush people's platforms or their things. Like, hey, here's a link to my book. I think that's rude. So if you,
I can see what you mean, but look, you know, you have my permission, you have my agreement, you have the. I encourage you to share your link. If you any of my rooms you join, share the link, you know, and talk about your book. You know, otherwise, no, it's I'm doing you a disservice, surely. You know, if
Mm.
anyone's written a book and you know you got a book or you got something big coming up, like share. If you don't share, we can't benefit from your greatness, from the hard work you've done, right?
well, I am about to share this beautiful book of greatness. Okay, we
Please
about
do. Please do. You know, if you watch on a
Awesome.
replay, I say do go along and do buy. I say do check out the books. That's what I say. And you too, Victoria. So don't be shy. You know, if you come to any of my event, whether you speak or not, share the link. You know, yeah,
Okay. I
it's a
never
choice.
think of that stuff because remember, this is all new to me, this networking and business. Like I've never done any of this stuff. So I don't even, my mind doesn't go there, but I will be
Yes.
more mindful
No,
of that. Thank you for the
please do, please
opportunity.
do, please do. So, I mean, there's partnerships that, you know, potential partnerships that you know could see your book, see the link, and then realize that you know we're meant to work together. So, you know,
yeah,
not just buyers. You know, there's also other people who just need
Mm,
to know that you know you can
yeah.
overcome you know situations and still be. You know, so you know,
Mm,
say I'm an author's person, so I would also encourage everyone. You know, say your book, well, even if it's one book at a time, we'll take it.
yeah.
You know, it all counts, right?
right.
Yeah,
Mm,
Michelle, I appreciate your you know your kind words, and I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to listen tonight. And you have some gorgeous and truly inspiring talent on stage with you. Indeed, saying that they make my show happen, right? They make it happen. Yeah, so Michelle says, "Congrats, Nikki. We need to catch up." Indeed, so yeah, let's make more friends. I'm so glad that you found the information helpful. Indeed, say definitely, definitely. Say that's always beyond question. So I love all of you being on stage. I love all of you. Give me your time. That's those in the audience as well. So I
mm,
will end with power thinking, my power thinking promo video. Because Stanley is one of my sponsors. And so the power thinking is on a couple of hours. So it was at 2:30 my nine, I think 9:15 EST.
mm,
So I'll share the link in our chat, so you can go along. They come along. So it's really all about mindset in bite
mm,
size. So do join. And also the power thinking has an app for your phone, where you can get more advice, more functionality, as self assessments. So all the good things, I guess. You don't normally have to pay a coach expensive money for. Well, power thinking, it's free. It's free on the app, but membership. I'm a member. If it costs me $10 a month, thereabouts, a bit more than $10 a month, maybe £10 a month, right? So do say no. Do check it. No, do at least take a look. That's what I can encourage you to do, right? If it's for you, then feel free to sign up. If it's not for you, then at least you've looked to say, okay. I'm the link to the event, so I'm going to put that in the chat. Where are we? So I go back to thanking you all. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your genius that you shared with us. And do connect with each other. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's say, unless anything else you want to say, please do say bye to our friends. Let's link up.
Thank you so much, Annie. It was definitely a pleasure, everyone. Victoria, Arlene, continue to put yourself out there and don't pay. Remember, value your time as well as your expertise. Do not be afraid to exercise boundaries. Establish boundaries with your familiar circle so that your business can succeed. Okay.
Yeah.
Love you. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank
You're a
you.
star. Enjoy your night, my friends. If I see you, I think I'll be made up. If I don't see you there, then I'll see you next couple of days, I'm sure. Take care, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Blessings. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for the
Take care.
opportunity.
Thank
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com. And celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. And celebrate it with